So it is a new dawn and a new day, and Konami have decided to release a brand new ban list, and so I know we're late, but I haven't seen any of it so far. I've been able to be really spoiler free, and so I'm hoping, because I've seen people on Twitter and on Discord just like rave about this ban list, and there's a lot of discussion, so either it's really good or it's really bad, but let's see when this ban list is meant to be in effect. So, the skill changes 18th to 20th. Okay, so we've got, what, 9 days? Yeah, so, week and a half. And then the fin list on July 21st. So that is in, again, a week and a half, 2 weeks time until all these are in effect. So, let's go to these skills first of all, because I think those are the ones that don't get the most discussion. But, yeah, let's take a look. Okay. So, the tech's going to change on July 27th, so we're going to have to wait a while for that. But, we're getting changes to Draw, Sense, Spell, and Trap. This skill is being given a hard activation requirement, as having this skill only one spell track on in the deck enables you to automatically guarantee that spell trap. That is true, and I think there's been some cheese decks with this skill, so definitely maybe it's an early warranted hit. So okay. Cyber Style, a hard activation of a condition and restricting it to fusion summoning. That's kind of interesting given we're so close to Exceed summoning where Proto Cyber Dragon would be used. It could be abused, so yeah. Tuning is going to be strengthened, and Ultimate Dragons. Since Neo Blood's Ultimate Dragon has become a level up reward, we will strengthen this skill to compensate. Okay. Those last two to me sound more interesting because those are clearly not meta skills, but we'll see. So Draw, Sense, Spell, and Trap can be used each time your life decreases by 1,000. In the draw phase, instead of collecting normal draw around a spell trap card. This will only activate if you begin the duel with a deck with 3 or more spell trap cards with different names in. That's better, but, and it's a big but, this is still triggered by Cosmic Cyclone. And if you trigger with Cosmic, you've then got a 50-50 chance of drawing into the spell trap you want. That's still pretty good. Obviously they didn't want to, they didn't want to nerf it to Oblivion, but it can still be abused, so I guess that's fine. It's a decent enough hit that does reduce the overpoweredness, I guess. Then we have Cyber Style. Can be used if your life are at 2,000 or below. Play up to 2 Pro Cyber Dragons in attack mode from outside your deck. If they're 1,000 or below, play up to 3 of them, so that's the same, but there's no... So you can't just play... I guess you can just play one of them. You can't just take 1,000 then play one. That's pretty good so far. Protos can't be attributed, and while they are face up on the field, you cannot special summon except for fusion summoning, nor attack except with fusion monsters. Okay. So, they're saying that, if you have any of those Cyber Dragons on the field, you can't do a Neos Fusion summon, you can't do anything else, you can't do an Exceed summon. So, this I think is a bit preemptive, but with Cyber Dragons being a tier 3 deck in Duel Links and being, decent on the ladder, very good on the ladder, this makes sense to bring them down a bit and just make the deck, I don't know, I like it. I like that you now can't do Cosmic Cyclone to summon a Cyber Dragon, because that was annoying, but still, it's pretty cool. Then we have Tuning. Can be used when your life points decrease by 1,000, so you've got a normal draw. Draw a synchro monster of your choice from your deck. Then send one to the graveyard. Okay. That's good so far, just searching a Junk Synchron or a Quick Draw Synchron or a Jet Synchron. Not bad. If you began the duel with 3 or more Junk effect monsters in your deck, add Speed Warrior to your graveyard. That doesn't say 3 or more with different names. So... Oh, but it's Junk. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, so you could use 3 Junk Synchrons and that's Speed Warrior in your graveyard, then you've automatically got that level 5 Synchro on board. That might be better than what goes in the graveyard, I'm not too sure. That is definitely making them very similar, but that's a fun skill. That seems like a fun skill, and if that's any indication that we might be getting a new Junk support in the next main box, that could be pretty cool. And finally, Ultimate Dragons. At the start of the duel, add Ultimate Dragon, Neo Ultimate Dragon, and Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon to your X deck. Oh boy. Oh. Okay. can be used on turn 3 and onward by revealing 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons in your hand to your opponent. Add a poly from outside of your deck to your hand. So you have a half passive skill in the just adding Ultimate Dragons to your deck, and then a non-passive skill that requires you to reveal 2 Blue Eyes, which means that Blue Eyes in your hand isn't a brick anymore. Especially since, with Twin Burst Dragon, you could summon it without using Polymerization if they're on the field. But in hand, you need that, so... Oh. Turn 3 Twin Burst Dragon at maximum. That's going to be fun. Okay. So, nice. That's a very, very good skill. I like that one. That's one of the best skill changes I think they've done in a while in terms of having a very fun skill. So, good on them. Now, let's go for the big stuff, which, sure, I'm actually really nervous about this one, because we're on our Dueling from Scratch account right now, and, you'll know, we're building Dark Magicians, and so they've been in the meta for a while. On the ladder, they are very prevalent, so if they get hit and nothing else gets hit, I'm gonna be pissed. If they get hit and Shiranui gets hit even more, not bad. Okay, so come on, first of all, let's see. Limited to 1, Time 0 Magic Crusher, and Give and Take. So, Duel Link's best decks is responsible for Give and Take. They said here with Ra's Disciple, but he used it with the Ice Maya Kashi monster. So, yeah, good on you, Loom. You've made a card get, limited. That's a big accomplishment. And Time 0 Magic Crusher, I think, was being used with Witchcrafters. So, although it wasn't seeing, insane amounts of play, it's still a very weird card, or a very, very good card, that can win duels very quickly if you have the right setup. So, not bad. Limited 1, so good. Limited 2. well, at least the rod isn't at 1, At least not 1. Limited 2, we have... Oh, for God's sake. Oh, Konami. It makes sense. It is so good. It does, it does give the deck some insane searching potential. We do still have 3 Circle, assuming they haven't done something crazy, but we have the ban list on the right. This now means we can't use Treacherous, or World Legacy Clash, or Magician of Dark Illusion in the deck, because you need this search. So, we've got some changing up to our deck to be done. Not this coming week, but probably next week, because this will be live in, episode 5 maybe? So, okay. Shiranui Squire, going from 3 to 2. That's interesting. Obviously, a very good starter card. It can just get out a single summon off the bat. What does Shiranui's play that's at 2 already? They have Spectral Sword. So that's pretty big. What else do they have? I guess they might have played Clash? I don't know. I don't know if this is big enough, because it's kind of the same with Dark Magician, isn't it? That these are 2 very good starter cards, but the deck already can do so much, just, not even including them. So it's a good start for it, hitting them even more. But as we saw with Shiranui, they got hit, and then they got more support, so that might have with Dark Magician again. But, so far, it makes sense. Cybernetic Overflow to 2. That is pretty big, because this guy is the bane of my existence. I can deal with playing against Shiranui's, but when you get overflowed, it feels like the worst feeling in the world. Now, what can't you use this with? You can't use... Where is it? Do they have it here? Concentrating Current. Oh. Good. Cyber Dragons... Cyber Dragons were kind of like Masked Heroes in that they always seem to open up with a Rampage Dragon and a Concentrating Current. That was it. So, that's a pretty big hit for them, honestly, in just giving them options for where they want to go. Now they do have to rely on you not having any answers to the Rampage Dragon. So, that's a good hit. I like that one. So far, from being completely, not, deck fanboying or whatever, so far, it's a good list. Like, so far, these are very good changes for the metagame, and it's definitely needed because it's felt this way. Dragoon Divine Lance! What? This card will be limited to prevent the Dragoon deck from having access to generic limited 2 cards. I think this is because the KC Grand Tournament, the winner used Dragoonity. So this is a direct response to that. Okay, I mean, Dragoonity's already, like, they'll OTK or bust. And so this going to 2, I think, doesn't make... It makes some sense, but not much sense. Like, if this is the way they want to go about things and being like, oh, you can use, you know, some of these cards, not use these cards, then I think the ban listing needs a complete rethink and they need to just, like, shuffle things up entirely. Because if they don't want you using generic cards with other good archetype cards, then there's a bit of a mismatch there in terms of game design. So, interesting. I don't think any Dragoonity players are really like, oh no, yes, you lose your good cards. That one's the most baffling so far. Do I have anything else? Crimson Fox. Wow. So of course, Crimson Fox, when it's sent to the graveyard from the deck, you can then target monster and controls, make it 0. In Lunar Lights, this is very good for OTKing, but I think the bigger thing is that it's not just being used in Lunar Lights, it's being used in Neos Fusion, which is at 2 currently. So you now can't play this in Neos Fusion builds, which means you can't go for your Brave Neos, make their monster 0, attack in, then use Mask Change, summon out your Koga, I think it's Koga, and then attack in and win. I'm guessing that's the main reason why. A good hit. Honestly, this ban list is really, really good. Crystron Impact! Whoa. So, what do Crystrons have on the ban list right now? They have, I think it's Ryon at 2? That's really big. Crystron's currently a tier 1. Not seeing amazing amounts of play on the ladder because they are so expensive. So it's usually just people that have just, built up that card catalog over time. So, fine. I think this was just a hit to just say, you know what, we are listening and we are hitting some decks that have been on the ladder for God knows how many months. Invoked, you're still around, you're still doing things, you're not really touching them at all, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm not a Crystron player. That deck is too big brain for me, so I don't really understand how this affects it too much, but I think it does, because now you have 2 very good cards I know were mained at max copies in that deck, now limited 2. Shame. Shame for you Crystron fans, but good for me. Limited 3. Spectral Sword is coming back. Konami, you were so close. You were so close. This would have actually made Shiranui's have to think, but the fact you can now run 3 of these again just doesn't really take away from... It doesn't make them worse, because now at worst you have this card on your field, you set it face down, it goes to the graveyard, the next turn you can play off with it, you know? That's annoying. And if they've done that, then I think they'll probably do the same with Dark Magician, because why not? Yep, Magician of Dark Illusion. And Amazon's Princess coming back. Okay. So, now we have Max Princess, 2 Swordswoman. We still don't have any copies. We have 1 copy of Onslaught, which... She searches it, doesn't she? Yeah, she searches Onslaught, which I think this is them testing the waters to see, can we bring these cards back in any shape or form? I think next ban list you might see Onslaught back to 2, because then you have to decide, do you want Onslaught or do you want Swordswoman? And those 2 of course paired very well with each other, but Magician of Dark Illusion coming back to 3 is... fine. Like, I'm glad because now the Dark Magician deck isn't completely neutered to the ground, because you now do still have that disruption in your opponent's turn, being able to summon out a Dark Magician from the graveyard, get a banish off, you still have that. But I think for wanting to nerf the decks even more, I think these 2 specifically, going back on changing this up doesn't do much to to shake things up. And I wonder if they didn't do it, if they did that because we have the World's Replacement event coming at the end of August, and this will be the ban list going into that. So they thought, you know what, we do still want to have one event, one big event, where we can show off the decks that have been seeing play for the past 6 months. And so Shirinuis, Dark Magicians, you'll probably see them there. Overall, I think it's okay. As you're going through it, you go through it and you're like, oh my god, this is going to be meta defining, this is going to be ridiculous. And then it's just like a little few taps here and there, and then they go and bait and switch with the Dark Magician and the Shirinuis. Yes, you have limited the consistency of those decks for getting into their main combo pieces. Obviously, Rod would get you Circle, that's now limited down. Obviously, Squire would get you a Synchro, the chance of that are now limited down. But I don't think it's going to be enough, given that we haven't really seen, apart from Witchcrafters, anything come out that's been really challenging to those decks. So maybe the next box is going to be insane. Chronicles of Glory, whenever that does release, we might hear about that on Monday from leaks. We might do. It's a very small chance, but we might do. So that should be fun. Tomorrow we have Duel Links from Scratch episode 3 coming out. So I look forward to that. It will be back in the past, so this won't be that short. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all. Actually, no. Let me know what you think down below of the ban list, because it's always fun hearing you guys' thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.